Welcome to the Mind of Business Success podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Cramer. Today we have with us my friend and colleague, Jocelyn Chong. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this show. I've been waiting for it for a long time. And due to COVID slamming across my household, I had to make multiple rescheduling opportunities to come to this point. So thank you for being so patient with me.
Well, now must be the right time. So we're going to have a great conversation. You are a business and life coach and just a fantastic human being. So I'm super excited to share you with my listeners, and let's talk about life and business. So why don't we start by talking a little bit about your business so you can share with our listeners who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I had relocated to Malaysia, from Malaysia to Australia in 1997. And in Malaysia, I grew up in a very multicultural environment. And one of the expectations in my family is that, you work really hard and then you come to Australia and you pursue your tertiary education. And then you get a very successful job and then get married, have kids. And then you save up, you buy a home, and then you retire, you die. That was the template. I didn't quite meet those templates. I did arrive in Australia. I then was very successful working for leading banks in Australia after I pursued my studies. And then I realized for a number of years that I was a misfit into the corporate culture. I had ideas, but they were all suppressed. Plus, I'm in a foreign country, so I had to build a lot of my own network. And I also had to work much harder because I'm female as well, working in a very male-dominated environment. So I was running out of hours in a week trying to go, how many more hours I can put in order for me to earn more, because I reached to the highest point of my income capacity in that organization. And I was like, in my performance review, exceeding expectation. I can't cap anymore. And I was thinking to myself, there must be another way to live life and to earn, and to also earn with ease. Because as much as I was really successful in my career, I was holding a lot of stress in my body. I was compromising a lot of other areas in my life. Relationship space, I was not good at it because I was married to my work. From a health perspective, I would go to the gym. But, when it comes to eating, I was always hosting a lot of functions. So I was eating so badly. When you have conferences and functions, you would eat like 6 meals a day. And then, you feel so sick. So I'm like, that is really not ideal. And also when I wanted to voice a lot of my ideas and opinions, I was working with a lot of leaders that didn't value that, didn't appreciate that. So I was seen as a competitor. And it was then harder because at that point in time in Australia, we're trying to introduce diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I fit into the whole category, but at the same time, I am then a major competitor. And so people would shut me down, put me in a corner, put me in projects that is not as plum after they realize that I fit into all those criteria, because then I will then take up their role and the next senior position. And in Australia, as you go further up the pyramid, it's like 1 out of 200 senior roles. So then 1 out of 500, 1 out of 10,000. So it becomes really challenging. And 2017, I read this book by Tara Moore. It's titled Playing Big. It's like, go away and play big. And I remember reading that book in a tram because our offices are in the heart of the city, and in the heart of the city of Melbourne, where I live, they are trends. And I was like, this is my opportunity to squeeze in anything that I can read to get inspiration. And I read that, and gradually I discovered that there is other ways that I can actually transition my skills that I've acquired over the years and set up my own business. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It took time because I wanted to pay off my home loan. I want to be debt free when I went into my business. So it took time because I also knew coaching people in my corporate world, those people who set up their business without a good financial runway come with a lot of stress, and it becomes less attractive, and it's harder to succeed when you got financial stress and you want to get clients, and it becomes desperation. And that's one thing I don't want to work with people with that sort of energetics. And so I'm like, nah, I will then, ensure that I save up, and then I'm prepared to build that financial runway so that when I see clients, I call in the clients I want to work with, there's no push, there's no force, there's no convincing. They want to work with me because I am there 100% and my energy is clean. And that is how I set up my business. So I started full-time last year, and I focused on serving service-based entrepreneurs. And I combined life and business because I noticed that you can't live your life out the door and compartmentalize that when you actually go into your own business. So I want to combine that together and bring such a holistic approach into my coaching programs, and also be a role model for that myself.
I love that. There was historically this idea, a very prevalent idea, that business and life were separate compartments. And I have seen a lot of that shift over the years. Now, I've been doing my work for over a decade. So I still work with some clients who are somewhat of the old school, and they're now slowly transitioning into seeing the importance of having more of that balanced integration between life and business. That model doesn't work. It's not even based on the laws of the universe. It's fundamentally flawed at its core. And it creates so much discord in people's life. And we see that in corporate too. We see that in business. It's easier in some cases, I think, for someone who's working at a conventional job. They go in, they punch in, they do their thing. They don't necessarily love it. Hopefully they don't hate it, right? And then they punch out, and then it's different, right? Now you get to go out and have fun, and it's, family time, it's fun time. It's, go out and do your hobbies and those types of things. But for business people, a lot of times you don't shut business off. And so a lot of business people are always dragging their work ethic and their obsessive thoughts about money and what they need to do, and driving things forward, and the next promotion, and things going on with clients and things going on with employees into their personal life. And then if that stuff's not exactly rainbows and butterflies, that's creating conflict in their marriages, with their children, with their health. So when you're working with your clients, I'm curious, are you finding it necessary to sort of retrain some of your clients on that mindset that you can have that healthier work-life balance?
Yes. So because of all my lessons of life that I went through, I wanted to actually offer people there are new ways of working, that it doesn't have to be that way. Because I was actually not loving my body, my mind, and I was surrendering to the leader's approval because I want to get a bigger bonus pack. All right. So it was such a misalignment in working for 20 years. Externally, it's glamorous success, but internally, I lost who I am. So, what I do now with my clients is I teach them and I bring to their space that there is an opportunity and it's an option, it's a choice that they get to choose, that they can actually work with ease and grace. And I use that term a lot, is because we can approach something and we can approach something from a heart of abundance, or we can approach it from a heart of resentment or bitterness or doubt or overwhelm. And I teach them both options, but you get to choose, because at the same time, if you produce, let's say, a writing for an email for 7 minutes, it's the energy around that. And imagine someone receiving on the other side that production of that material for 7 minutes, and there's an energy around that, because we're human beings. We have got energy in us, our body, our cells, and we have got so much divine intelligence with us. And so I introduce that into their world, and I introduce them to think new thoughts. Because a lot of times we've been thought about certain things and we never challenge that perspective. Because if we do, then we feel that we're not part of the major crowd of the community. And I wanted to offer them, if we have a new thought and we think about that new thought as a predominant thought, over time, it becomes a stronger muscle. And so I bring that to their awareness, and self-awareness is going to help them win in business. And so that is the core part. Anything that they approach, whether it's doing a performance review for their team, or delegating authority to a new member of their team, I invite them to really offer them a new thought that is a positive, predominant thought. And you take time, like anything, the thought doesn't happen overnight and we conquer that. It would take time for us to release thoughts that didn't serve us, that if we want to bring that really nice, amazing energy into the business, we have to be the role model. And I teach people, if you want success externally, it has to come from inside out, because external success can only get you that far. And I can pull out so many examples in Australia every single day. They are so successful externally, but they didn't look after their health, and they shortchanged themselves and their career, then went into direction that didn't really become rosy anymore. And so what can we help? Because the numbers of successful entrepreneurs in Australia is very low. Usually people last for 3 years and then they go into burnout. And that's because they never ask for help, to help them think different and to approach things from the inside out, to look after them. Their body is the temple. And so how can they access that, rather than always doing and expect the external validation from others? So I really integrate that, and I really help them own their power. I teach them how to really access their own powerful source and go deep into their creativity. So that excites me when I get to coach them and help them light up and go, that is what you got, your superpowers, your talents, your gifts. Why aren't you using that? And I see that, like this week I've done 19 coaching sessions, and every moment was either they are crying because they're like, oh my God, that's me, I've got that. Or they're like, wow, you can see their facial expression just lit up because they go, I've got this. And so I create that container for them to discover themselves and to discover themselves so fully, so that they can really be here for their mission on earth.
So what we're talking about here is a lot of mindset stuff. Because regardless of what your business is, you can make it hard, you could make it easy. So much of it has to do with our, like you said, predominant thoughts, and reconditioning those thoughts to be more empowering. And it's so interesting because people can create these really stuck patterns. Now, they're so convinced that certain things have to be hard. They have to be difficult. And when you have that going on, it is very, very, very challenging to get your mind to let that go, to reframe that. It's so valuable, though, for us to just take a few steps back and be a little bit more objective, because every one of us does something that someone else perceives is hard or even impossible, and it's easy for us. So what is the difference between you and them in that area of your life, right? It's the mindset. You believe and expect that it's easy for you. And so that becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. And you can take that same mindset and apply that in the area where you've been so convinced that you can't, or nothing has been, you haven't been able to change it in the past, right? Nothing has worked in the past. And sometimes it's just a little shift in the mindset that can finally allow the subconscious mind to release its death grip, right? like holding on for dear life. You know, if anyone listening has children, they've had this experience, right? It's like, you know, going to school for the very first time, or dropping them off at, you know, aunt and uncle's house or something like that. And they're just like, no, you know, like if they let go of you, it's going to be the worst thing ever. And once they let go, and then they're off and they're playing, they're having so much fun, they don't even care about you anymore. It's like, yeah, you can go, you can be gone all day. But that's how our mind works. And we so want to hold on to our fear. And yet it's the one thing that will set us free and help us to create what we want to create.
Spot on. Beautifully said. It is just really a lot of inner work of reprogramming our subconscious mind. That's why I believe so much in your work, because since 2019, I've just done hypnotherapy almost every second day. Either I listen to a recording or, you know, a variety of hypnotherapy coach that I've had before. And it's just those work that really had done such huge quantum leap results for me. Because you can imagine someone who's conditioned for 20 years think a certain way. And I had to I did one-on-one sessions, and it was like, I just need to clear this shit out of my head, because I am just so aware this is no longer serving me. And then peeling it off. It's also coming to a place where I allow myself to do it. It's like, now I need to allow myself to do this. The other side of the lake is going to be much better, much prettier. And it's giving myself the permission. And a lot of people, I invite you to give yourself the permission to do something new, to do something different. And that's where you will see things change. It can change rapidly for you when you are willing and open, and you're surrounded by people who are helping you take you to the other side. So work with Alicia.
Well, thank you for that very generous plug. There's so many incredible people that are so talented, and their heart is absolutely in the right place. There's so much help out there for all of us. And we all have room for growth. We all have room for expansion. We all have room for new perspectives. And that's why I think conversations like this are so valuable. People have achieved a very high level of success in a certain area of their life. And others looking at that individual will put them on a pedestal. But we have to remember that's one area of success, and there is infinite possibilities. So when we let go of putting everything in this nice little box and we're open to that expansion, now we can achieve so much more. And when we shift out of competition mindset into cooperation mindset, now we all can grow exponentially compared to that limited old perspective. When people are coming from competition, they're coming from scarcity, they're coming from lack. Wrong mindset to create true success. And it's still so frequently taught in all of these different schools of business. There are so many people in sales training, marketing training, business training. It's still all about what's your competition doing? Look out for your competition. Watch out for your competition. Gain the upper hand on your competition. And I've found that when you're coming from that perspective, you are so incredibly limiting what is possible for you. And now some people are going to say, oh, but look, some of those highly competitive corporations are dominating. But they're also, not only are they assholes in many cases, but you look at some of these people and they're physically unwell. Their toxic mindset has created deterioration and a lack of quality of life, and they're miserable in their relationships and they're miserable human beings. And I just challenge anyone who's going to say that that's success. So you've got to think outside of the box and start to look at what else is possible. You know, when we are in that abundance mindset, when I win and you win and we all win, I found that the right clients, the right opportunities, just naturally, we are magnetically attractive to those things. The right client for you is going to be magnetically attracted to you. The right client for me is going to be magnetically attracted to me. And what's fascinating is sometimes the same client is magnetically attracted to multiple people because that's expansion. I love your approach to business and life because it is that more expansive mindset, that more abundant mindset. And you share a similar passion, and that is helping people to really embrace their full potential, their greatness, to go out and be the light, to do the thing that you are feeling called to do, that you are inspired to do, that is like your gift and contribution to the world. So now I'm going to switch gears here just a little bit on you. And I want to talk a little bit more about you as the business owner. And you shared your story, and it's a beautiful story. But now let's dive into it a little deeper. I want you to get a little more intimate here with us. And can you share with us one of your mindset obstacles that you had to overcome in order to get to where you are today in your business?
There is quite a few actually obstacles that I had to clean out of my system last year. So I came from a corporate background, and when I actually had any campaigns or marketing collaterals or anything, I have a full division that can pick up the phone and call them and can set up for it very quickly because that's their expertise. And so when I actually came across and do my own business, that was a huge mental block that I have to do a lot of my own marketing. And what I learned about marketing was very much in my degree, in my master's, and in all the different courses I get to do. And it's actually not in alignment with what I want to do in my marketing strategy. It was a lot of sell, use scarcity, give them time frame and don't buy it, give them, even more discount code. I'm like, no, I don't really like that approach because it's forcing people more in towards the mindset around scarcity than keeping them abundant. That there is no need to force and get someone and coerce someone to buy at this point in time and then tell them, if not, it will never come back again. It's like, well, the world will continue to produce new materials. And so I had to really shift that. And that was huge for me because I had to learn to write different marketing and sales pages. I had to learn how to approach it in a way that is in alignment with all my chakras, like in alignment with my human design, in alignment with how I want to approach it from an abundance place. Because the world is offering me, do it from a scarcity perspective. And that was loud because that was how it was presented to me. So I have to unlearn what I learned in my uni, my master's, and all those trainings that we did in my corporate world. And that was one of it. But I want to offer you another one. So I'm not good in technology. And one of the areas that I had to shift my mindset is I can learn quickly. And for a period of time, I go, it's always easy. I've got the 1-800 number to call my IT team. Well, when I ran my own business and I've got that now, I have to be the IT person. But also I had to approach it and shift my own mindset that I can make it easy. So Tim Ferriss, the author who wrote the 4-Hour Workday, he had this question, and his question was, what if it gets to be easy? And so I had to play that question in my brain and tell myself, what if I can make marketing easy for me? What if I can make IT, the tech side of my business, easy for me? And what if I just need to learn one thing a day and overcome one thing? Because for me, it's like, oh my God, I'm trying to create so many things behind the scenes and keeping the website very live and updating things. Yes, I did ask for help. Yes, I got experts and I hire VAs who are expert in those areas, but I still need to know that behind the scenes because it takes me 30 seconds to update certain things only. And so I had to really overcome that hurdle for myself. And those are more mindset work. And once I get that mindset work shifted, it gets to be easy. So those two areas was challenging for me last year.
Again, it all comes back down to mindset, doesn't it? So, Jocelyn, tell our listeners how they can connect with you. I know somebody is probably thinking, okay, she's fantastic. I want to connect with her. So can you share your website and let us know where you are, where we can find you?
So I'd like to invite your listeners to come and join me on my podcast. It's called Magnetic Abundance. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music. You can also find me on my website, and there are many resources there that you can just access for free. And there are also resources there that you can purchase and, access those materials at your leisure as well. And if you ever need to, work with someone who has got that expertise in 20 years of banking and finance, helping you pull together your life and business together, helping you make money with ease, attract your most affluent clients to work with you, and then own your own power, I'll be delighted to have a conversation with you. Book a consult with me. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. And once you do that, you can also email me on my website. There is my email address, and I respond to them very quickly. So those are the many variety of ways that you can engage me as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been a delight having this conversation with you.
And thank you to all of our listeners. We're doing this for you. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you do so. And until next time, we will see you in the next episode.